Are you ready to discover the hidden signals that can flip the script on your love life and spark unforgettable connections? In this video, we dive into the essential questions that a keenly interested woman might ask, questions that can reveal her deeper intentions if you know what to look for. These secret signs aren't just about casual curiosity. They can be the golden key unlocking genuine chemistry, paving the way for late-night conversations, thrilling weekend plans, and even heartfelt intimacy. Think of this as your ultimate guide to reading between the lines, one that combines practical wisdom with a touch of stoic calm. You'll learn how to respond with unshakable confidence while maintaining the poise that sets you apart. Stick around until the very end if you don't want to miss the most crucial insight. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more life-changing content tailored just for you. Life is full of subtle signs, especially in the realm of human connection, where body language, words, and unspoken cues come together to create intricate tapestries of interaction. Many of us have experienced that moment when we realize someone is sending signals of interest, yet we cannot quite place a finger on exactly what changed. Perhaps there is an alteration in tone, a different kind of question asked, or just a lingering glance. When these signals come from someone younger, there is an added layer of nuance. Social norms, generational culture, personal preferences, and even self-confidence levels all play a role in shaping what we say and how we say it. This interplay of elements can become bewildering, leaving us wondering whether we are overthinking, reading too much into a situation, or ignoring some critical sign that is right in front of us. In this expanded discussion, we are focusing on 7 key questions that a younger woman might ask when her interest in physical or emotional intimacy with you starts to grow. On the surface, these questions may appear casual, merely icebreakers or friendly queries, but beneath the surface, each holds deeper intent. These questions can serve as gateways to better understanding the boundaries, hopes, and desires shared between two people. While we are concentrating on a particular scenario, the scenario of a younger woman showing romantic or sexual interest in an older male, these questions can also pop up in various contexts. They reflect universal signals of attraction and curiosity, offering a map to where someone hopes a relationship might go. What makes these signals even more interesting is how they are colored by modern communication methods. Texting, social media, voice notes, and video calls add to the complexity. A straightforward question like, "Are you free this weekend?" may be accompanied by a playful meme or a carefully timed reaction on social media, not to mention the generational norms that can drastically differ. Younger generations often face fewer stigmas around directness, yet they may still use subtle approaches to gauge interest or maintain some sense of intrigue. Throughout this exploration, we will weave in philosophies, particularly the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, and practical relationship advice to offer deeper reflections on how to answer these questions and navigate the unspoken meaning behind them. The Stoics believed that inner composure, self-awareness, and the careful observation of one's emotional states were critical for living a good life. Applied to dating and relationships, these principles might remind us to remain calm under pressure, to be mindful of what we can and cannot control, and to reflect on how we respond to signals rather than reacting impulsively. Above all, this is an invitation to tune in to the social dynamics at play. If you can cultivate your powers of observation and combine them with empathy, sincerity, and respect, you will become much better equipped to recognize when someone is genuinely eager to form a deeper connection. In the following paragraphs, we will begin dissecting the first 3 of these 7 significant questions. We will discover how each one, however casual it might seem, can represent an invitation to move closer, share private moments, and potentially begin a new romantic chapter that both people truly desire. Signals of romantic and sexual interest have fascinated societies across time. While the exact words and gestures have evolved from coded letters in centuries past to modern swiping apps, the desire to decode what is hidden beneath polite conversation remains largely the same. The philosopher Seneca, one of the prominent figures of Stoicism, wrote extensively on self-awareness and personal ethics. Although Seneca did not write explicitly about dating or signals from a younger admirer, his writings on the importance of reason, composure, and moral choices can guide us in understanding the motivations behind seemingly ordinary inquiries. In ancient times, people relied heavily on face-to-face interaction and the exchange of tangible gifts. Relationships might have been influenced by familial pacts, formal courtesies, and intricate manners, making it challenging for a person to openly declare interest without significant social repercussions. A mere glance or small talk about the weather could hold worlds of meaning because direct conversation was often off-limits. Fast forward to the present day, and although many social constructs have relaxed, we find ourselves enmeshed in digital complexities instead. A question asked via text might be accompanied by an emoji, or follow a like on social media, indicating the person is trying to gauge your reaction discreetly. In this environment, it helps to have a sort of blueprint for identifying when a younger woman's curiosity leans toward intimacy. The 7 questions we will analyze serve as that blueprint. Each question, while not always explicitly sexual, is a signpost indicating that she might be imagining a closer connection, or at least testing the waters. From the most straightforward queries, like wanting to know your schedule, to more personal questions about your history, each one nudges the conversation toward a more private, possibly romantic zone. Recognizing these nudges is your first step in deciding how to respond, or whether to respond at all. Part of the Stoic approach here involves acknowledging that everyone is motivated by personal desires, shaped by experiences and guided by unique emotional landscapes. Thus, when a younger woman asks something as simple as "Where do you live?" or "Do you live alone?", we should not leap to assumptions, but observe carefully and respond thoughtfully. There is no need to get overly anxious or jump to illusions of grandeur. Calm reflection, as advocated by Marcus Aurelius, helps ensure your responses remain genuine and respectful. In Stoic terms, you control your reasoned choices. You do not control her intentions, but you can interpret the clues she drops and decide wisely. That said, these 7 questions should not be taken as a universal formula. People differ in how they express interest. Yet, broadly speaking, these inquiries are common enough in modern dating contexts that they provide a reliable guide to whether she envisions spending one-on-one time with you. Below, we begin dissecting them. The first 3 questions revolve around personal logistics and compatibility, crucial stepping stones toward exploring mutual intimacy. When asked thoughtfully, they present glimpses of a person's private world, invite further opening up, and suggest a desire to see if the two of you are on the same wavelength. Let us start with question 1. Do you live alone? The first question a younger woman might ask to gauge whether she can get close to you is deceptively simple. Do you live alone? At first glance, this might just seem like small talk. Perhaps she is curious about your living situation, or maybe she wonders about your roommates or family's presence. But in many cases, it is far more than that. This question is often an initial probe into your sense of personal freedom and the possibility of spending uninterrupted time together. If you respond that yes, you do live alone, the conversation may swiftly move in a direction where she starts picturing evenings at your place, shared meals, or quiet hours enjoying each other's company. Stoicism suggests we approach such questions with a balanced mind. You do not want to overreact or misinterpret her intent. You also do not want to be dismissive. The best approach is to answer truthfully and confidently. If you do live alone, you might say something along the lines of, "Yes, I have a small apartment to myself. I value my privacy and it allows me to relax." This statement signals that you are at peace with your living arrangement, setting a comfortable tone. If you do not live alone, maybe you have roommates or family members in the house. That is absolutely fine. You can still convey that you manage your own space or have the ability to host someone, provided that is true. For instance, I share a house with a roommate, but we have our own spaces. If we need privacy, it is easy to arrange. Some people might wonder, why does this question matter so much? The answer lies in the subtlety of attraction and opportunity. A younger woman interested in taking the relationship to an intimate level is likely trying to figure out how feasible it is for her to spend private time with you. She might be concerned about the presence of family members, about the possible awkwardness of encountering a roommate at a late hour, or about judgment from others. Even if she does not plan on heading to your place immediately, knowing you have a private space can put her at ease. It indicates that if things move forward, practical obstacles will not stand in the way. From a larger perspective, "Do you live alone?" can also signal a conversation about lifestyle compatibility. Perhaps she wants to know how independent you are or what your boundaries are. It is an avenue to discover if you value solitude, if you are financially stable enough to afford a place on your own, and whether you appreciate hosting gatherings or spending quiet nights at home with a few good books. Being honest in your reply helps shape a solid foundation rather than leading her on with false expectations. By showing you are comfortable discussing your personal living situation, you also show a degree of trust, which can be appealing. When we delve deeper into question 1, we see that it encapsulates some universal truths about intimacy and trust. In many romantic connections, having a private space is crucial for deeper bonding, whether it is for meaningful conversations, movie nights, or simply having the freedom to be physically affectionate. An environment free from prying eyes tends to nurture closeness. On a subconscious level, the younger woman posing the question might be running through scenarios of how easy or difficult it will be to get alone time with you. She might be weighing potential hurdles. Will we always need to go out? If we do end up at his place, will there be interruptions? Is there a comfortable environment where we can just be ourselves? Beyond simple logistics, your attitude toward your living environment can reveal aspects of your personality. Do you see your home as a sanctuary? Is it a space you are proud to share, or do you view it merely as a place to crash for the night? A Stoic approach encourages us to maintain our personal space with a sense of order and simplicity, ensuring it reflects who we are but also does not control us. In other words, you do not have to live in a mansion or decorate like an interior designer, but you could keep things organized, comfortable, and welcoming. This approach not only benefits you personally, but also makes it easier to invite someone over without embarrassment or unnecessary anxiety. Recognizing the deeper intention behind "Do you live alone?" also allows you to respond with mindful clarity. If your living arrangement is complicated, say you are helping family members or you live in a situation that is not ideal, acknowledging that honestly fosters a sense of authenticity. You are communicating that you have responsibilities or chosen living circumstances that reflect your values, rather than apologizing as though it is something to hide. A well-grounded Stoic perspective here is to remain comfortable in your reality, unashamed and unflustered by what others might think. By doing so, you project a kind of quiet confidence that can be quite attractive. In short, question 1 is not merely about whether you have your own place. It is also a gentle gauge of how receptive you are to spending time together behind closed doors. Responding in a calm, straightforward manner will typically reassure the inquiring person that you have nothing to hide, thus making the next steps, whether that is an invitation to your place for coffee, a meal, or a more intimate encounter, feel naturally aligned. Once you have addressed question 1, it sets the stage for progressively deeper questions. Some revolve around your personal past, others around your preferences, and all collectively map out the terrain for a potential relationship. The second question, how many people have you been with, can sometimes catch you off guard. In many cultures, discussing sexual or romantic history can feel quite personal, almost intrusive. Yet when a younger woman aiming to know you better asks this, it often signals that she is trying to understand your level of experience, your approach to relationships, and potentially your sense of commitment. Even if the question is not intended to judge you based on your number, it is important to realize that this is one of those topics that helps someone gauge whether or not they are sexually compatible with you. It also reveals your comfort level with honesty and vulnerability. In Stoic philosophy, self-awareness is key, and part of self-awareness is understanding one's own past without shame or embellishment. If you have had multiple partners, and you are comfortable acknowledging that, a succinct, genuine response might be the best approach. If your history is more limited, the same principle applies. Be direct and unapologetic. The important thing is not to treat your past as a scandalous secret or, conversely, something to brag about. Stoics believe in measured responses. You can be proud or at peace with your history, but need not flaunt it. Bragging or appearing ashamed both convey emotional imbalance, which can signal deeper insecurities. Sometimes this question functions as a gateway for deeper conversations about sexual health, emotional readiness, and long-term compatibility. If the younger woman sees a potential serious connection, she might want to ensure that you are free from entanglements, both literal and emotional. She may wonder if your past partners ended their relationships with you on good terms, or if there is lingering baggage. If you are prepared and open to discussing this, your candor can strengthen the bond. If you are hesitant, that might also be telling for both of you. It is crucial, however, not to feel cornered. If you feel it is too soon to discuss specifics, you can gently shift the conversation by saying something like, "I value honesty, and I have had experiences that taught me a lot. Perhaps I can share more once we know each other better." From a generational perspective, younger individuals might be more comfortable discussing sexual history early on, seeing it as part of informed consent and emotional safety. They often want transparency up front, rather than finding out later about hidden complexities. Therefore, if a younger woman prompts you with this question, it is often a signal of trust. She is opening the door to deeper intimacy. Taking it seriously, answering thoughtfully, and perhaps reciprocating by asking about her comfort levels or perspectives can create an environment where both of you feel heard and respected. Remember, Stoicism does not imply secrecy. It encourages an honest yet measured approach, free from excessive pride or shame. How you respond to the "how many people have you been with" question can also give her insight into your general attitude towards relationships. If you become evasive, joke in a dismissive manner, or offer an obviously inflated response, it may raise red flags. Younger individuals, especially those who have grown up surrounded by a wealth of relationship advice content online, tend to have sharpened radar for inauthenticity. Conversely, if you handle the question calmly, even lightly acknowledging any awkwardness, it displays emotional maturity, a sign that you are comfortable with your past and ready to focus on the present. As with all personal inquiries, context matters. If she is asking this question only a couple of days into your acquaintance, you may wish to gauge how to respond without compromising your own sense of privacy. You have every right to keep details of your intimate past to yourself until you are ready to share them. Maintaining respectful communication, possibly stating boundaries with kindness, ensures that you do not abruptly shut down her curiosity while preserving your dignity. A measured Stoic approach might translate to, I prefer discussing these topics once there is a bit more trust between us, but I appreciate your openness in asking, and I do not mind letting you know that I have had meaningful experiences that shaped who I am. With such an approach, you are not lying or deflecting entirely, you are simply setting a comfortable pace. Once question 2 is addressed, the dynamic between you might shift. Having ventured into a more personal territory, you both know that the lines of conversation can become increasingly intimate. This sense of openness may pave the way for more playful, intriguing queries. Like question 3, what kind of movies do you like? Although it may sound casual, the meaning can be surprisingly layered. In modern dating, shared interests in films, music, or culture often become a pretext for spending time together, especially in cozy settings that foster closeness. Let us move on to the third question to see how even a question about film preferences can hint at deeper intentions. Question 3, what kind of movies do you like, might initially sound like small talk, an almost universal icebreaker. After all, who does not enjoy sharing opinions on popular films, TV shows, or streaming sensations? Yet, when asked in a certain tone or in a particular context by a younger woman who has already shown deeper interest, this question can take on new significance. Movies are more than mere entertainment. They can reflect emotional sensibilities, personal tastes, and comfort with various genres. In some cases, the question is a hint that she wants to organize a movie night, an invitation that can rapidly lead to a more intimate atmosphere, especially if it happens at someone's home rather than a public cinema. If you suspect this question carries romantic overtones, you might choose to respond in a playful or suggestive manner. For instance, if you say, I love romantic comedies, they are the perfect excuse to cuddle up on the couch, you are indirectly indicating an openness to cozy moments. Should she respond positively, maybe by recommending a new rom-com or suggesting you both watch it together, then you have strong evidence that she is aiming for a closer connection. Nonetheless, do not feel the need to feign interest in genres you truly despise. It is usually better to stay authentic, stating your genuine preferences and perhaps asking her for recommendations. Honest communication about your tastes helps you both see if there is a comfortable overlap. As we conclude part 1, reflect on how each of these questions, do you live alone, how many people have you been with, and what kind of movies do you like, can signify layers of meaning beyond their literal words. Stoicism helps us remain calm, genuine, and aware of our own intentions and boundaries. These questions often act as the opening volley in establishing a deeper rapport, and how you answer can either strengthen a budding connection or cause it to lose momentum. Part 2 will pick up the conversation where we left off, delving into questions 4, 5, and 6. Each illuminates additional aspects of how a younger woman might subtly reveal her desires for closeness and emotional investment. Feel free to comment on part 1 before moving on to the next section. Understanding these foundational ideas will help you fully appreciate the upcoming questions. Before diving into questions 4, 5, and 6, let us linger a bit longer on question 3, what kind of movies do you like, to fully appreciate its weight in the context of romantic exploration. If the younger woman in question has shown consistent curiosity about your lifestyle, your dating history, and your general preferences, then an interest in your movie tastes is unlikely to be purely casual. The significance of this question can expand further when she uses it as a setup for future plans. Maybe she follows up by suggesting a Netflix watch party or hints at a film you must see together sometime soon. These little cues, taken together, might be the green lights you need to understand that she is actively envisioning spending personal time in. From a Stoic standpoint, you might consider how to respond in a way that honors your authenticity without overindulging in fantasies. Stoicism emphasizes self-control, not to dampen your enthusiasm for life, but to ensure you remain grounded in reality. If you find your hopes running wild at the mere mention of a movie night, remind yourself that genuine connection grows through honest, reciprocal conversation and shared experiences. Easing into these moments can often be more fulfilling than rushing headfirst, since it allows both parties to gradually reveal their true selves. Similarly, if you are not particularly excited about the specific genre she adores, say, horror films give you nightmares, then stoic honesty would encourage you to say so calmly, suggesting an alternative that might suit both tastes. The unspoken subtext behind this query frequently points to comfort with emotional intimacy. Watching movies, especially at home, involves physical proximity, dimmed lights, and a context where casual touching, laughter, and even tears, depending on the film, feel more natural. Thus, if the two of you share a special interest in certain genres, romantic comedies, dramas, thrillers, it can be a stepping stone to deeper emotional synergy. Discussing favorite scenes or analyzing what you watch afterwards can create bonding moments, especially when each person's viewpoint is respected. Let us now turn to the next set of questions in the blueprint. These questions move the conversation further into the realm of shared time, physical presence, and the logistics of meeting up, amplifying the possibility of genuine intimacy. Question 4, "What are you doing this weekend?" is such a seemingly casual question that many people miss how pointed it can be. Let us explore this next. When someone asks, "What are you doing this weekend?" it can be purely friendly, or it can be a strategic opening toward making plans. In the context of a younger woman who has shown signs of interest, it is typically the latter. She is testing the waters to see if you are free and, if so, whether you are amenable to spending time with her. On the surface, this question might appear common. After all, friends, family, and colleagues often ask about weekend plans out of curiosity. The difference here, however, is often found in the context surrounding the question. Have the two of you already flirted? Have there been subtle compliments or jokes about spending quality time together? Has she previously hinted at wanting to watch a particular movie or visit a certain venue? Those underlying hints matter. A Stoic perspective would remind you to pay close attention to intention without overcomplicating the scenario. If you suspect romantic or physical interest, consider responding in a way that leaves the door open for more direct suggestions. For instance, saying, "I do not have much planned, what do you have in mind?" invites her to take the lead, if that is what she is aiming to do. Alternatively, you could propose a specific activity, showcasing your proactive side, such as, "I have a free Saturday. I was thinking about checking out this new art exhibit. Care to join me?" This direct approach can simultaneously show initiative and confirm whether she is genuinely keen to meet. If she reacts positively, perhaps revealing that she was hoping to grab dinner or take a day trip, then you have a clearer indication that her question was more than polite conversation. A subsequent acceptance to do something together over the weekend often indicates readiness for a more personal connection, especially if the plans are in a context conducive to one-on-one time. Conversely, if you sense hesitation or if she fails to commit to any concrete activity, it might imply she is testing your response style rather than truly wanting to meet. This does not necessarily mean she lacks interest. Some people weigh your confidence and creativity before deciding if they want to take the next step. On the other hand, from a Stoic viewpoint, keep in mind that the outcome of this question, whether you actually go out together or not, should not dominate your emotional state. You can prepare for a potential meetup, but do not let your happiness hinge on her response. Part of Stoic emotional resilience is understanding that you control your actions but not others' choices. If she does not pick up on your cues, or if her schedule truly is busy, your calm acceptance and continued engagement at a comfortable pace might set a respectful tone. The underlying message is, I am open to connecting, but I also have my own fulfilling life. That grounded self-reliance often enhances your attractiveness in the long run. Balancing initiative with openness is crucial when responding to, "What are you doing this weekend?" Repeatedly deflecting the question could come across as uninterested, while being too eager might appear desperate. A Stoic approach would encourage you to remain centered and genuine, answer truthfully about your weekend plans, and politely indicate whether you are free or busy. If you genuinely have prior engagements, do not cancel them abruptly just to free up your schedule. Instead, propose an alternative day or time. This respectful boundary shows that while you are interested, you also value your commitments and sense of independence. Furthermore, Stoicism can guide how you handle the possibility of disappointment. Sometimes she might be testing you to see if you would immediately jump at an invitation, or perhaps she wants to see if you have a rich, fulfilling life. If you are already busy, you do not owe an apology. Instead, something like, "I would love to meet this weekend, but I have plans on Saturday. If Sunday works, I would be happy to grab brunch or coffee together," strikes a healthy balance. You are not giving up your life to accommodate her, nor are you dismissing her interests. You are instead co-creating a space where both schedules can align. From a generational perspective, younger women may be accustomed to rapid communication and instant planning, often done through texts and social media. Patience and clarity are essential to avoid misunderstandings. For instance, you might clarify, "I am free on Saturday evening but not Sunday," so she knows exactly when you're available. Open communication about your schedule fosters trust. She might interpret your clarity as a sign of maturity, distinguishing you from others who hesitate or offer vague responses. If she is serious about wanting to see you, she will usually work to find a mutually agreeable time. Once this question is sorted out and the weekend date is set, or at least proposed, the next phase might be an even stronger indication of her intentions. That leads us to question 5, which often revolves around a scenario that directly facilitates one-on-one time. Can you help me with something at my place? Let us see how that question deepens the dynamic. When a younger woman specifically asks, "Can you help me with something at my place?" it is rarely just a logistical favor. Of course, there are times when she truly needs assistance lifting heavy boxes, fixing a piece of furniture, or troubleshooting her home theater system, but in a romantic context, especially if it follows prior signs of interest, this question often signals a clear desire to spend private time together in her personal space. Asking for help serves as a socially acceptable excuse to bring you into a more intimate setting without having to spell out, "I want to be alone with you." For many, inviting someone into one's personal home is a big step. Homes are reflections of our identities, often places where we feel safe, relaxed, and able to drop public facades. A Stoic viewpoint would encourage you to approach the invitation with both enthusiasm and respect. Enthusiasm because she is likely extending trust and showing that she values your presence, and respect because entering someone else's domain should always be handled with courtesy. You might respond with something like, "I would be happy to help. Let me know when is good for you, and we can figure out exactly what needs to be done." This leaves the arrangement somewhat open-ended, allowing her to pick a time that suits her comfort level. The context of her invitation can also hint at her deeper intentions. If it is a one-time, urgent favor, perhaps her sink is leaking or she genuinely needs heavy items moved, she might primarily need help. But the fact that she asked you, rather than a neighbor, a family member, or a professional, underscores her sense of ease with you, as well as her possible romantic inclinations. After the favor is done, pay attention to how she suggests spending the remaining time. If she offers drinks, proposes watching a movie, or simply wants to chat in a low-pressure environment, it might be her way of extending the evening to explore mutual attraction. From a generational standpoint, younger women might find it simpler or more natural to use direct communication for such requests, often aligning with the more straightforward approaches of modern dating. Still, they can maintain an air of subtlety to gauge your reaction. If you respond generously but also respect her boundaries, e.g., not assuming that just because you are at her place you have free rein to get physically close, you demonstrate emotional intelligence. Good manners, genuine helpfulness, and reading the situation without overstepping can go a long way in building trust. Some may wonder, what if she really only wants help? Indeed, Stoic philosophy would remind us that not everything is about romance or intimacy. It is possible she simply sees you as a capable friend or someone with the right skill set for the job. However, if the overall context points to romantic undertones, previous flirting, personal questions, invitations to hang out, it is more likely that "can you help me at my place" doubles as a strategic move to test comfort levels in a private setting. How should you prepare? Keep a calm mindset, free from the assumption that anything is guaranteed. A Stoic approach to desire involves acknowledging that, while you can hope for a deeper connection, you do not demand it. Offer help graciously, remain receptive to her signals, and maintain a respectful boundary. If the situation evolves into a more intimate encounter, let it unfold organically. If it remains friendly and platonic, you have still honored a request to help someone out. In either scenario, your demeanor should reflect sincerity and balanced composure. This scenario can also be a test of character. She might observe how you handle stress or unforeseen complications. For instance, if the task at hand turns out more difficult than anticipated, do you become frustrated or handle the setback calmly? Your reaction can speak volumes about your ability to navigate challenges, both practical and emotional. Younger women, like anyone else, often appreciate a partner who can adapt to circumstances without losing poise or resorting to anger. By demonstrating patience, problem-solving skills, and a cheerful willingness to be of service, you can showcase traits that are generally appealing in both casual and long-term contexts. Let us move on to question 6. How far is the restaurant from your place? This is another question that might seem superficial at first glance, yet it can be laden with implications about the possibility of extending the evening into more private territory. Question 6. How far is the restaurant from your place is more subtle than some of the other inquiries, but do not underestimate its potential significance. When a younger woman asks this question, she might be gauging the feasibility of pivoting from a public venue, such as a restaurant, cafe, or bar, to a private venue, your home. If it is a short drive or just a short walk away, she may be picturing an easy transition to continuing the evening in a quieter space where conversation can flow without distraction. Alternatively, she might be considering logistics related to comfort, safety, or time constraints. Timing is essential in deciphering this question. If it comes up casually during a conversation about where you might have dinner, it might be a practical consideration. But if it arises after she has already shown signs of wanting to be alone with you, asking about your weekend availability, inquiring about your living situation, or flirting consistently, then this question becomes more telling. It can be her way of discreetly checking the possibility of concluding the night at your place without an arduous commute or complicated logistical hurdles. She might be thinking, is it convenient enough that we can head there spontaneously if we want to? A Stoic approach would be to answer honestly, in a manner that reveals you are open to her subtext, but not presumptuous about the outcome. For instance, if you respond, "It is just a 5-minute walk," you could follow up with, "If you ever want to drop by, it's pretty easy to swing by after dinner." This style of response indicates availability, while leaving her the choice to decide if and when that transition should happen. Stoicism counsels that while you can set the stage for a deeper connection, ultimately she must be comfortable making that move. Your role is to remain composed, respectful, and transparent. At the same time, if the distance from your place to the restaurant is significant, say it is in a different part of town, her question might reflect concern about how late the evening might run or whether she feels safe traveling with you. Younger women, especially if they do not know you well, often factor personal safety into these decisions. A Stoic perspective would remind you to be understanding of such worries. You might offer to meet in a central area first, or clarify how you can safely get her home if traveling a longer distance. Communication, once again, is crucial. The key is to provide enough reassurance without pushing boundaries that could make her uncomfortable. If the conversation leads to mutual agreement on continuing the evening at your place, then you both can proceed with clarity. As we wrap up part 2, let us recap the significance of these 3 questions. What are you doing this weekend? Can you help me with something at my place? And how far is the restaurant from your place? Each one refines the idea that the younger woman wants to see you in more intimate contexts. By asking about your weekend availability, she signals her desire to spend quality time together. By requesting your assistance at her place, she invites you into her personal domain, bridging the gap between public interactions and private vulnerability. And by probing the distance between a chosen restaurant and your home, she subtly contemplates the possibility of extending your time together beyond shared meals or drinks. All these moments hinge on your awareness, sincerity, and composure. A Stoic approach does not mean being aloof. It means you remain present, calmly engaged, and respectful of boundaries, both hers and yours. The Stoics would suggest we focus on what we can control: our behavior, our responses, and our emotional reactions. We cannot force or manipulate another person's feelings, but we can create an environment in which mutual attraction has a chance to flourish. Recognizing these subtle questions for what they often are, stepping stones toward deeper intimacy, helps you navigate them with confidence. Now we head into part 3, where we will examine the 7th and final question: do you like hugging? On its face, it might appear even more straightforward than the others, yet it frequently represents a more direct test of physical and emotional closeness. After answering or exploring that question, we will tie these 7 points together, discussing how you can use these insights to foster healthier, more transparent connections moving forward. Feel free to share any comments or reflections on part 2 before continuing. Understanding these transitional steps can help clarify the final piece of the puzzle. The 7th question in our blueprint, do you like hugging, carries a deceptively simple message. At face value, it is about physical affection, an inquiry into whether you are comfortable with touch, warmth, and gentle embraces. But in the context of the preceding questions and the subtle cues that have been shared, this one often comes with deeper implications. If a younger woman asks this, she is gauging your level of openness to physical closeness. She may be contemplating that first touch of affection, such as a playful hug at the end of a date, or a more lingering embrace after an evening spent together. She could also be curious if you are the kind of person who enjoys casual contact, like a comforting arm around the shoulders, or if you prefer more private, reserved displays of warmth. From a Stoic perspective, the question can feel both intimate and revealing. Stoics would advise responding in a way that reflects your genuine emotions. If you genuinely enjoy hugging, you can affirm that without hesitation. I do, actually. I find it a nice way to connect with someone and show that I care. Alternatively, if hugging is not your typical mode of showing affection, perhaps you come from a cultural background where hugging is less common, or you value personal space. You can politely express that as well, being careful to communicate that it is not a personal rejection of her. For instance, I appreciate a heartfelt hug when I feel close to someone, but I am also a bit reserved at first. This honest statement neither shuts her down, nor pretends to be someone you are not. The point here is that "do you like hugging" often hints at her intention to move into a closer range, physically speaking. She might be picturing a moment when you two are standing side by side, perhaps after a nice dinner or a relaxed hangout, and she wants to gauge if you would be amenable to a spontaneous embrace. It is also her way of testing your immediate reaction. If you recoil, she might interpret that as disinterest. If you smile and seem enthusiastic, she might take it as a green light to initiate a soft hug or hold your hand. Reading these cues accurately can set the tone for how the rest of the evening or future encounters might unfold. Beyond the literal question of hugging, this inquiry points to a broader theme. How comfortable are you with affection and emotional expression? If you are someone who leans towards stoic restraint, you might be used to bottling up feelings or showing affection only in specific ways. But younger women, often shaped by modern and open discussions about mental health and personal expression, might find that a bit distant. Keep in mind that showing vulnerability in small, genuine ways can be reassuring. It communicates that while you may be composed, you are not closed off. Stoic philosophy, in its original form, does not advocate the suppression of emotions. It calls for mastering them through self-awareness and reason. Thus, being comfortable with hugging can be viewed as a balanced approach, recognizing that physical connection is a natural human need, yet not letting it dominate your interaction. Physical touch can be a powerful bonding agent in any relationship. For many, a simple hug can release tension, offer reassurance, and convey affection more directly than words ever could. If you do enjoy hugging, expressing it earnestly might deepen her interest, as it confirms that you are not only open-minded but also in tune with emotional closeness. Conversely, if hugging makes you uncomfortable, explaining why might foster a different kind of connection, one based on understanding boundaries. Maybe you prefer other forms of affection, such as thoughtful conversation, acts of service, or quality time. The key is that honesty around your comfort levels builds trust. That said, some caution is warranted. Even if you both love hugging, ensure that it is consensual. Asking "is it okay if I hug you?" or reading her body language, if she leans in or maintains eye contact, helps confirm she is on the same page. Stoic self-retrieval can guide you to remain respectful. By seeking or recognizing consent, you show empathy and respect for her autonomy, strengthening the overall dynamic. At this point in your interactions, if she is explicitly asking about hugging, it is likely she is open to it, but verifying is never a wasted effort. This mindful approach can lay a solid foundation for the development of a more meaningful, physical, and emotional relationship. Now that we have explored all 7 questions, let us summarize how they interlock. Do you live alone? An inquiry into your personal space and the possibility of spending private time together. How many people have you been with? A look into your romantic or sexual history, gauging comfort with intimacy and honesty. What kind of movies do you like? A potential segue to planning movie nights and establishing emotional or physical closeness through shared interests. What are you doing this weekend? A straightforward attempt to make plans, often hinting at a desire for deeper or more exclusive time. Can you help me with something at my place? An invitation into her personal sphere, signaling an opportunity for private, potentially intimate time. How far is the restaurant from your place? A subtle gauge of logistics for possibly extending a date into a more secluded setting. Do you like hugging? A direct question about physical affection, testing your receptiveness to closeness and warmth. Taken collectively, these 7 questions often mark a progression from casual curiosity to more overt interest. Each step aims to peel back a layer, revealing how comfortable, available, and genuinely receptive you are. For many younger women, this method feels more natural than outright confessing, "I want to be alone with you." These questions allow a gradual escalation, letting both parties confirm interest and ensure mutual consent. A Stoic lens for all of these is to remain self-aware, calmly confident, and gently empathetic. You control your own choices, but not the outcome. You can only do your best to interpret her signals accurately, respond authentically, and respect any boundaries that arise. When done properly, these interactions can evolve into something deeper, romance, companionship, or a meaningful friendship that could blossom into something more. Reflecting on these signals from a life philosophy standpoint, we find that human connection is central to human flourishing. While Stoicism has sometimes been misunderstood as emotional coldness, original Stoic texts emphasize moral virtue, wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. They do not exclude love or intimate relationships. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of compassion and empathy, even if tempered by self-discipline. Therefore, you can embrace the possibility of a new romantic chapter without compromising your philosophical grounding. When dealing with a younger woman who poses these questions, a Stoic might internally ask, "What is in my control?" Only your responses, your attitude, and the manner in which you handle your own expectations are truly within your domain. If she chooses to ask these questions, or if she decides to follow through on her implied interest, that is up to her. This approach saves you from over-involvement in anxiety or excitement. While you can certainly experience hope or anticipation, you temper these emotions with an understanding that your well-being does not depend on external validation. In a sense, Stoicism can offer a protective shield against emotional turbulence, enabling you to stay open-hearted without losing your center. Moreover, Stoic wisdom suggests that meaningful relationships are worth the vulnerability they demand. Even if an interaction does not evolve into a lifelong partnership, you gain experience, insight, and often friendship through authentic, respectful engagement. Look at each question she poses as an opportunity to display empathy, presence, and sincerity. Over time, these qualities can resonate powerfully not just in your romantic life, but in your friendships, professional relationships, and community ties. Having laid out the philosophical framework, here are some practical tips for answering each question responsibly. Stay calm and composed. Whether she asks about your living situation or your sexual history, keep your tone level and your expressions measured. Anxiety or eagerness can sometimes signal insecurity, but calm answers radiate confidence. Maintain honesty. Do not overstate or understate your experiences or preferences. If you live alone, say so proudly but without arrogance. If you have had numerous past relationships, discuss it openly while clarifying what you have learned along the way. Respect boundaries. As you sense her interest, remain attentive to signals that she might be shy or cautious. If she seems hesitant about a plan, offer alternatives. If she asks you to come to her place, confirm the timing or specifics in a manner that respects her comfort. Seek mutual enthusiasm. In each question, particularly those about weekend plans or private rendezvous, censure there is a mutual desire to connect. It should never feel one-sided or pressured. Communicate clearly. If you suspect that a question about what you like in movies actually means she wants a movie date, respond in a way that opens the door to that plan. Ambiguity can stall momentum. Stay true to yourself. Embrace who you are. If hugging is your thing, say so. If you are more reserved, communicate that. Authenticity is the glue that sustains meaningful connections. In the end, you want these conversations to be stepping stones toward a healthy, fulfilling bond, whether casual or more serious. By blending practical sense, Stoic wisdom, and genuine empathy, your answers to these questions can set a respectful, inviting tone for whatever journey you and this younger woman undertake together. It is worth noting that the younger woman's perspective might include a blend of excitement, nervousness, and curiosity. She could be exploring dating in a fresh way or stepping outside her comfort zone by showing interest in someone older. Your composure and respect can serve as a reassuring presence. If you both sense that a real connection is forming, acknowledging it openly fosters trust. If, on the other hand, you discover mismatched intentions or realize that you are at different stages of life, parting ways respectfully upholds mutual dignity. Remain observant of nonverbal cues as well. Her body language, eye contact, and tone of voice can often reveal more than words. If she asks, "Do you live alone?" while leaning forward, maintaining strong eye contact and smiling softly, the subtext is likely quite warm. If she asks, "Do you like hugging?" while inching closer to you physically, that is another cue that she might be ready to break the touch barrier. Listening with empathy, responding with clarity, and staying alert to these subtleties will serve you well. In the spirit of Stoicism, do not let the outcome, whether success or disappointment, rattle your emotional stability. The true value lies in how you conduct yourself through the process. Every conversation and connection opportunity offers a chance to refine your communication skills and deepen your self-understanding. By the end of these encounters, you might find not just a new partner or friend, but also a better grasp of who you are and how you relate to others. We have now journeyed through all 7 questions that a younger woman might ask when she is interested in moving closer, physically, emotionally, or both. Each question, from inquiries about your living situation to ones probing your comfort with physical affection, unfolds part of her strategy to see if a genuine connection is possible. When we consider them collectively, we see a pattern. Gradual progression from casual talk to personal invitations, culminating in a direct question about physical closeness. Understanding this sequence allows you to respond with mindful honesty, shaped by the wisdom of Stoicism and guided by respect for personal boundaries. Ultimately, this knowledge should be employed with empathy and integrity. Relationships thrive on mutual understanding, shared interest, and honesty about one's intentions. By recognizing these 7 questions, you become better equipped to read the subtext, offer considerate responses, and foster an environment where both parties can feel safe exploring their connection. Whether that leads to a brief but meaningful fling or a long-lasting bond, you will have navigated each step with clarity and dignity. By tuning into these key questions and responding with steady self-assurance, you're not only paving the way for deeper intimacy, but also setting the stage for more fulfilling, two-way connections. Each inquiry, from whether you live alone to your comfort with physical affection, serves as a bold invitation to explore new territory, if you're prepared to read the signals. Above all, remember that a little stoic composure and honest communication go a long way in forging genuine bonds. Did any of these questions surprise you or resonate with your personal journey? Share your experiences in the comments below. We'd love to keep the conversation going, and if you found value in these insights, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Your support fuels our passion to deliver even more content that helps you stand out in the modern world of dating and relationships.